Okay, so Lauren is very upset. She's upsetty spaghetti. She is not eating her bowl of copium flakes this morning. She is apparently very angry or sad, or I don't know. I haven't watched the video yet. We're gonna watch it right now. About the socialist lies, because people were wrongfully slandering her or something. I don't know. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show and thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about the dishonesty of Shoe0nHead.
Oh, wow. Just straight up 17 minutes and 59 seconds of just straight up like, we're just going to talk shit about this girl I used to like who called me out of my shit. Boo-hoo.
And also socialism in general.
Oh, okay.
And I usually don't like to make videos that could be construed as being drama-centric. That's not the point of this channel. That's not what I'm here for. But I
need to snatch this bitch's wig, motherfucker. It is time. Yeah, we're going to tear at each other's weaves.
also don't like being lied about. So that's what we're going to do today, is clear some stuff up. And before we go any further, I do just want to apologize if I look or sound under the weather. I woke up feeling completely fine, but around an hour ago, my nose started running like a faucet. Sorry for the graphic description, but it's true. And
graphic fucking description? What the fuck? Okay.
Right now, I'm not quite sure what's wrong. I'm hoping it's
Does she have
just
the Rona?
allergies. But if my nose happens to get progressively redder throughout this episode,
Wait, is that a fly on your forehead? Do you have a fly on your forehead? I'm just fucking around.
it's because I'm blowing it in between takes. So Shoe0nHead is a very, very popular YouTuber who is probably best known for making anti-SJW, anti-feminist type of content, and the odds are that if you've somehow managed to find my content, you've definitely at least heard of her. She is huge, way bigger than I would ever hope to be. But what's interesting about Shoe is that her videos used to be really focused on cultural issues, things like mansplaining, the pink tax, and stuff like that, but lately it seems like she's more interested in hard politics.
If you actually watched her channel, you might actually know what you're talking about. She keeps her hardcore politics to her Brainlit channel, and her social commentary is still on Shoe0nHead, but, I digress.
And in terms of politics, even though Shoe is probably best known for being anti-woke, she is a socialist. And no, I don't mean social democrat. She is just literally a socialist.
Is she really? Oddly enough, I have yet to hear Shoe say that she's coming out as a socialist. Pretty sure that's not what she's come out as, but you go on with your bad self. This is supposed to clear up the lies, right, Lauren?
And since I really don't want to be accused of misconstruing anyone else's beliefs in this episode, I have screenshots to back this up.
Okay.
So here we have a chat log from what looks like a Discord server, and just in case anyone isn't familiar with a Discord server, they're kind of like chat rooms. So it's very different than something like a DM, which would be more private.
I like how she has to prime like Ethel and Herman over in fucking the boonies of Minnesota. What's a Discord? Oh, I don't know. Sounds like anarchy to me.
Private, and I definitely wouldn't be okay with someone leaking those. But at one point, after being asked, why are you still so hesitant to call yourself a socialist, besides the PR thing, she replied, I just don't want to LARP as something I don't understand enough. Socialism on paper would be neat, but it's not going to happen, so we should get the country as close as possible, like the Nordic countries.
Boom. And those Nordic countries are countries that Lauren likes. Lauren likes those countries. She likes those countries. She's like, they're only successful because it's all white. Let's cut the shit. That's exactly what she fucking means. Not because of their socialist policies. Socialism as a philosophy is a concept. It's one thing that you can think about. We use that concept to do things like pay for our fire departments, our roads. The president is enjoying his health care through a type of tax incentivized socialism. And Lauren herself enjoys Canada's socialist healthcare. But socialism as a governing force, like as a governing philosophy, I still don't think necessarily that it would be a good idea. And it seems that Shoe doesn't either. So she's not a socialist. This isn't hard.
countries. To which the other person asked, and if we do get to the point where the Nordic countries are, then what? Would you be a socialist? And Shoe said, yeah, most likely. So the other person replied, so you're a socialist? To which she replied, no, I'm a social democrat, with the little echo parentheses thing. I
What do
know the
those
term
mean?
socialist is used against left-wing people a lot to kind of conjure up this Red Scare type of thing, but just know that when I say socialist in this context and in regard to Shoe0nHead, I'm being serious.
Like, so this is what's so funny too, is like Lauren is trying to come off as like wholesome and sweet. Like, look at this fucking face. Look at this fucking face right here. She's trying to come off as like wholesome and sweet, but she's like, leaked chat logs have shown that Shoe0nHead is actually a socialist. From her casual goofing off conversations on her Discord, which is full of like memes. Wow, fucking got him. Holy shit, McCarthy, calm the fuck down. Like, I'm not just doing a Red Scare. This is real. What the fuck? Also, I think the Red Scare thing is a reference. I think she saw my video yesterday.
She's a socialist. Now, last week, or at least I think it was last week, I did a video responding to the Gravel Institute, who are pretty much trying to be the socialist equivalent of PragerU. And one of the videos in
Or the left-wing equivalent to PragerU, which is actually what they said. They didn't say anything about socialism. There are people in the Gravel Institute or who make Gravel videos who talk about socialism. Sure. So fucking what? Are you afraid of dangerous ideas, Lauren Chen?
particular of theirs that I responded to was all about how big government is actually good. And no, that's not oversimplification on my part or anything like that. It's actually advocating for big government. Keep that in mind going into this, and here is a—
We already established you don't even know what the fuck big government means. When you argue big government, you're arguing like the government using money. That's idiotic. That's idiotic as fuck. You don't even understand what big government fucking means. Anyway,
a particular clip that I think it's important you all see.
Like Germany or Finland, that have lower rates of poverty and higher rates of economic mobility. The American dream is more alive in these big government countries than in America.
There are a lot of differences between the US, Germany, and Finland. But if you ask a socialist why it is that Germany and Finland perform better than the US in certain metrics, they'll say it's because the government is bigger and the taxes are higher. That is the answer to prosperity.
It can be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely can be. There are a lot less grandmas rationing their fucking medication in these countries trying to stay the fuck alive because they don't have to worry about it. And it's paid for by tax dollars. And I would rather my tax dollars go to that than some of the other stupid shit that we pay. So what?
Is that right, though? Are higher taxes and big government really the answer to Germany and Finland's success? It couldn't possibly be because they have overwhelmingly homogenous populations, right?
So does Liberia.
Populations that, by the way, also have a higher average IQ and narrower distribution than the US does. If it was true that you could just big government and tax any—
Yeah. And for the record, just before anybody like tries to take that out of context, that's the point, is like the homogeneity is race. And that's what she means. It's what she means. And like it's only reinforced by her then talking about IQ, because when she talks about IQ, historically speaking, when she talked about IQ before, she's talking about IQ in disparately racialized groups. That's what she means. That's what she fucking means. Race realism, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
population
I want to hear what she's gonna fucking say to try and explain this one away. This is great.
into happiness and success, then the story of the Soviet Union would be very different. I stand by everything I said in that
We know, little Nazi. We know. You're so cute. You're so cute. Ah, yeah.
video. It is a huge oversimplification to try to attribute Germany and Finland's bigger governments and higher government spending levels to their lower poverty and higher economic mobility levels.
So that actually very complex answer makes less sense to you than just, well, they got less of those dumb brown people. Dirt. What the fuck?
The US has historically, thanks to chain migration, had tons of people coming into the country every year with less wealth, less education, and less skill than the native population.
Why are you talking about the United States? You're Canadian. Why are you always talking about our country? You're Canadian. Why don't you just mind your own fucking business?
Of course, when every single year you have people coming in who maybe don't speak your language so well, probably don't have a lot of savings themselves, and may not be very skilled workers, there's going to be a certain amount of poverty that comes alongside that. And I still very much believe in the American dream. I think
You're not American, you're fucking Canadian. How many times do people have to fucking tell you this? You, look at this fucking face. Look at this fucking face. Look, you are not fucking American. You are Canadian. You're Canadian. You're a weird, fashy, ethno-stater Canadian. The same kind of, like, cut from the shitty-ass cloth as Stephen fucking Molyneux. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? I still believe in the American dream. Oh, good for you. Who cares? You're not fucking American. But, like, I'm going to be dead set honest here. I would rather take 100 illegal Mexican immigrants into this country than you, because they would probably hold true to the values of this country more than you would. You're a foreign fucking agitator, spreading dangerous, fucked up, anti-American ideas. That's what you are. That's what you are. Chen is an outside foreign agitator trying to influence the politics of my country with anti-American ideas. What the fuck, dude?
I think in America you are more likely to succeed than anywhere else, but still, that success takes time. And it is true that recently Germany has been taking in a larger share of migrants, but that still doesn't compare to the generations and generations that has been going on in the US.
Oh, I see. Man, okay, all right, fuck it.
And of course, it is true that there are tons of immigrants in Germany and the US and every country you can think of who are not only very well educated, but actually better educated and wealthier than the native population of the country they're moving to. But still, by and large, most countries work with some sort of family reunification plan when it comes to immigration, and things like skill level or job prospects aren't always.
Can you see her tripping like a motherfucker? Nothing she's saying here makes any sense. And I'm going to be very charitable. We're going to back this up. We're going to make sure we understand everything she's trying to use as a justification for this, okay? We're going to try and strongman this argument.
US and every country you can think of who are not only very well educated, but actually better educated and wealthier.
So there are some immigrants that come into some of these countries, and they are, in some cases, better educated than the resident population. That doesn't mean anything. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Okay, yeah, sure, that does happen. Yes, of course. But you're probably talking about, like, very, very isolated, small sections.
Than the native population of the country they're moving to, but still, by and large, most countries work with some sort of family reunification plan when it
I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Comes to immigration, and things like skill level or job prospects aren't always the top priority when letting in immigrants.
Okay. Interesting. It is in some countries. It is in Japan. If you want to try and, like, immigrate into Japan, which is almost impossible, but at least to be able to have, like, a working visa in Japan, yeah, they absolutely take into consideration that stuff. 100%. Absolutely they do. But in these other countries, no, not necessarily. Strange, though, that we don't try and put forth some sort of weird, arbitrary, almost eugenics-like standard of allowing people into the country. Isn't that weird? Why don't we do that? Doesn't that make much more sense, everybody? Doesn't it make much more sense? Why? Okay, we're thinking about letting you come in here, refugee from a war-torn country or economically distressed and destroyed region. But first, we're going to need you and your family to take IQ tests. Okay? Write down your relevant experience and make sure that you're actually valuable enough of a human being for us to take care of. Thanks. You fucking Nazi bitch! What the fuck, dude? Oh my god.
Just in case anyone thinks I'm saying all immigrants are poor and uneducated, that's simply not true, but it is just a fact that many immigrants who do come to Western countries are hoping to get either a better education or better job prospects. And IQ absolutely affects income. There have been studies on this. If someone has a higher IQ, they are less likely to live in poverty. That's pretty much all.
She's trying to defend her fucking crazy Nazi bitch like talking points, and she just made it fucking worse. She just made it worse. She just made it worse. Okay, it's one thing to just have casual racism based upon where either somebody comes from or what they look like. Okay, fine. You know, it's shitty, and we should be beyond that as a people at this point. We really should. But at the point in which now you go beyond that to now like straight up like Ubermensch, like genetic superiority kind of shit. You know, like we only want the high IQ people. If you quizzed Lauren Chen on what the value of the IQ actually is, she would probably draw a blank and just try and like cute her way out of it. You know, like what the fuck, man.
All I have to say about that, but again, if you haven't seen all of that video, I do suggest you go and check it out just to get a better sense of what I and the Gravel Institute were each trying to argue.
Or you should just watch my video shitting all over your video, because it was way funnier.
We're not done with our current saga, but before we go on, I want to save you some money. That's right, I want to save you...
Ugh, you fucking chill. I mean, you know what? You want to make money off your YouTube channel, it's fine. But it's the way she does it, like, oh my god, the way she does it is just so fucking insufferable.
You know that our show is the one that sent you. The reason why I mention all of that is because it turns out on social media, someone chose to clip part of my video and share it. And here is the clip that's been circulating. There are a lot of differences between the US, Germany, and Finland. But if you ask a socialist why it is that Germany and Finland perform better than the US in certain metrics, they'll say it's because the government is bigger and the taxes are higher.
Yeah.
That is the answer to prosperity.
We just saw this.
Is that right, though? Are higher taxes and big government really the answer to Germany and Finland's success? It couldn't possibly be because they have overwhelmingly homogenous populations, right? Populations that, by the way, also have a higher average IQ and narrower distribution than the US does. I still do agree with everything I'm saying. And
you just showed us the same clip twice. It doesn't make it any better.
in this clip, but I think it's interesting that this person in question chose to remove the context of the Gravel Institute video that I was responding to.
It changes absolutely nothing, yo.
The Gravel Institute video advocating for big government and trying to attribute Germany and Finland's successes to specifically their big government.
Oh, okay. You were massively dog whistling a bunch of like racist, race realist bullshit in a weak defense. But it's okay because you were doing it against the concept of big government? What? How? How are you filled with this many brainworms?
And their high government spending. Now, when Shoe saw this video clip, her response was,
here we go.
Mixed race person living in Canada telling Americans they can't also have healthcare because America is too racially diverse. I am exhausted. What?
Exactly that. That is exactly it. That is exactly 100% it. Everything she said is 100% true. Are you mad that she pointed out that you're Canadian? Canadian.
First off, I really do love being called mixed race person. I mean, that is what my close friends and family refer to me as. So I just love when that can be brought to political conversations.
It's brought up all the fucking time as a defense that you can't be fucking racist. So sorry is what it is.
Fun. But also, I am not telling Americans anything any more than I am telling German or Finnish people stuff. It's simply a conversation about the merits and detriments of big government. As an American or whoever, you can do whatever you want with that information. And on
Okay, so you argue against it, but it's fine. But it's what the fuck? What does that even mean?
top of that, saying that a population is homogenous is not the same as saying that, oh, it's just not racially diverse. There's a lot more that goes into homogeneity, especially when we're talking about a socioeconomic issue like big government and poverty level.
Yeah, but that's what you meant. That's exactly what you meant. Of course it's what you meant. You're not fooling fucking anybody except for people so desperate to catch a whiff of your asshole that they'll defend you till their dying day. These fucking simp dudes who will like jump in front of an arrow for you. Okay? Anybody who doesn't have an investment like that, an emotional investment in you, knows exactly what you said. They do. And the thing that's so fucking annoying, and if it was just that statement on its own, without the whole IQ mention, you might be able to kind of skirt away from this again. But you can't. There's too much history behind that. I was talking before I started this recording that it's a good thing for us to be as charitable as possible with the people that we listen to and that we've trusted in the past. We want to make sure that when if we condemn somebody, we're doing it not just out of just a simply reactionary way, but that we've really tried hard to make sure that they actually did say something fucking crazy or that they believe something really fucking wild before we just throw them aside. That's the least we can do for anybody. And that includes like people that we know, people we care about. It's good. But there's always a line. And some people cross it, some people don't. And that line is different for everybody, especially in how you interact and how you feel about, say, a YouTuber or a family member. But once that line is crossed, it's very hard to cross back over. I don't know about all of you out there, but the line for Lauren was crossed a very, very, very long time ago. Hey, I got a sub. Thank you. For me. And I am not in any way convinced by this. This is the weakest, most shit-awful, limp fucking defense.
Economic mobility, things like that. My video wasn't even about healthcare. It's about big government. And I don't think I even mentioned healthcare once. But if you want to talk about
yeah, big government. You're talking about big government. Part of that is healthcare. The Gravel Institute video talked about healthcare. And one of the main things that we can point to is that you enjoy the benefits of socialized healthcare. That's what Shoe's whole tweet was. I know reading comprehension is hard for you. Try and keep up.
Healthcare, Shoe, there is healthcare in America. You could maybe say there's not a universal single-payer system in America.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's no healthcare, okay? There is healthcare.
Wow, what a gotcha. Wow. Hey, did you know that there's healthcare? Yeah, you might have to go into economic distress and be financially ruin the financial future of your children because of inherited debt. But you know what? Listen, there's healthcare. Like, I don't think she's been having the sniffles. I think she got beat the fuck out. And, like, she's taking cry breaks. I think she's taking fucking cry breaks. Like, this is some weak-ass fucking responses, dude.
Just had to fly my parents down to the U.S.
Oh, see, now she's crying. Oh, man, here come the tears. Shit.
Because my father got a scan revealing he had liver cancer, and he went months in the Canadian healthcare system with no follow-ups.
Okay.
All right? So there's your Canadian healthcare system for you. And you know what? I'm not saying the American healthcare system is perfect, but I am sick and tired of the narrative that because Canadians have government healthcare, they're not able to contribute to the healthcare debate. That is the opposite of what is needed because...
Of course you can contribute to the healthcare debate. Of course you can. But you can't just simply fucking arbitrarily come out here and say like, oh, it's just bullshit, blah, 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 blah. But I hate to have to point this out to you, Lauren. And you know what? Sorry that your dad has cancer. That fucking sucks. Cancer's awful. Awful, awful, awful. But the reason why your dad is able to come to America and pay to get that treatment here in America is because you guys have money. Some poor motherfucker up there in Canada working a very small minimum wage job at, what's that fucking coffee shop that everybody goes to up in Canada? Whatever the fuck it's called. Tim Hortons. A Tim Hortons employee gets cancer. They ain't coming down here to America to get their cancer treatment. That's not going to happen. They're only able to enjoy that because of money. That whole class issue, the thing that you like to avoid. And now you're just going to put in a bunch of crying tears like in your, boo-hoo, Shoe0nHead was mean to me. Boo-hoo. Man, fuck you.
Socialists like you are under the assumption that everything is a utopia. It's all fairy tales and roses in Canada because we have this beloved government system, and that is not the case.
Ain't nobody ever said that.
People die up here waiting for care. And you know what?
Oh, bullshit. Okay, yeah, all right, maybe they do. But, like, this is just emotional fucking pandering. This is emotional pandering. What are you doing? This is the most cringe shit on the fucking planet. What the fuck, dude? No.
One of the reasons why our healthcare system is so inundated in Canada is because we have taken on waves and waves of migrants who are now using the healthcare system that they have not paid into. So
that's why you hate the immigrants. Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm glad we're finally getting down to the real nitty gritty of why you hate immigration so much.
yeah, here is a mixed race person living in Canada who has some thoughts about healthcare. Is that all right with you, white American? Do I have your permission to...
Ooh, you did the thing that she did to you to try and make it seem clever that it's okay to do that. Oh, wow. Dang. People die in the U.S. because they can't pay for their surgery or medication. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I don't know what the fuck she's trying to say here. Like, all right. Does the long wait times, which I have actually seen quite a bit of evidence that it's not nearly as bad as people try and claim, and that if you need emergency care, it's not like they're going to be like, well, go take a seat for the next 3 months, and then we'll try and help pull that, like, metal fence post out of your body. No, it's stupid as fuck. It's the dumbest way to fucking to frame it. But, like, this whole notion that there aren't problems with the United States healthcare system too. No, it's fucked up too. But this is all a fucking distraction, by the way. This is all a distraction. The main takeaway about the whole fucking thing was her incredible gaffe, accidentally slipping up and letting her mask slip off and the race realism come out.
To share these opinions. And by the way, none of this should be construed as me defending the American healthcare system. I mean, the American healthcare system as it is right now was put in place by the Democrats, so why would I? It just frustrates...
Nah, that's not even true either. Like, do you not even understand what our healthcare system is like? Obamacare is not our healthcare system. Obamacare is a supplemental government program that's put in place to try and keep people alive. Our healthcare system has been developed and evolved over the course of decades and decades and decades, usually by predatory insurance companies buying politicians to give them more leeway to siphon off more from American taxpayers and put more people in debt so they can get richer. But you don't understand that. You're just dumbing it down to the same stupid, like, vapid-headed fucking talking point. I mean, it's shameful.
Frustrates me when people defend a system like Canada's that they are clearly so uninformed about. Anyway, about that clip featuring yours truly, Shoe also went on to say, sorry Americans, you can't have healthcare like the rest of the developed world because the Browns.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
did not say that.
Yeah, you did.
Not at all.
Yeah,
you have
you
to be
did.
pretty slimy
Yeah, you
to take
did.
a conversation about big government and big government spending and twist it into, oh, so you don't want people to have healthcare. And not even you don't want people to have affordable healthcare or government provided healthcare. She's literally just saying you either love big government or no healthcare at all. And
Wait. That's what she took away from, like, I don't know if she, like, is next going to talk about it, but, like, that tweet here is pretty clear. You can't have healthcare like the rest of the developed world because the Browns. She completely dodges the whole, like, like the Browns part, and is just like, I'm just telling people that they can't have health care. What? Fucking Christ.
Or government provided healthcare. She's literally just saying you either love big government or no healthcare at all.
Yeah, that's not what. Nah, nobody said that. No, nobody said that.
And what is this notion that just because most migrants nowadays are brown, I can't criticize mass migration without blaming it on brown people specifically?
You know, you might have a case there if you hadn't brought up IQ. You might have a case there if you didn't bring up IQ right after you mentioned it. But you fucked it up, dude. You fucked it up. You fucking let it slip. You let it fucking slip. I'm sorry. And everybody rightfully calling you out should continue to fucking do so. It's your fucking fault. You slipped up.
That's some BS right there. There are tons of amazing immigrants out there who, are not white and they're very skilled and that's fine, but
some of them, I assume, are very fine people. Some of them, most of them are brown and racist and rapists and terrible and murderers, but some, I assume, are good people.
Come on. Mass migration absolutely has cultural and political effects on Western countries, and I mean, I don't think that should be off limits in terms of criticism just because right now those migrants happen to be brown and socialists apparently love to call people racist.
Happen to be brown. Happen to be brown. They just happen. Fuck.
Obviously, when it comes to politics, Shoe and I don't agree, which is fine. That's not necessarily a problem in and of itself. But
Sure it is.
yeah, don't lie about what people have or have not said. It's not a good look. Just because you're a socialist, that doesn't mean you have to be.
Still not a socialist. Still not a socialist. And yet she didn't lie. She didn't lie.
A lying socialist.
Nah.
Anyway, through all of these posts, I did end up having some interactions with other socialists, and some of them I thought were pretty interesting, so I figured for the rest of the episode, we could go through some of those. One person wrote, explain why population differences will have different needs in healthcare, and explain it in a way that doesn't involve race. It's not about having different healthcare needs, it's about having different abilities to pay for healthcare, and this whole racial thing. It's funny that whenever you mention homogeneity in a population, these people always think the first thing you must be referring to is race.
Because that's what you always mean. Because that's what you always mean. And because you hang out with people like Stefan fucking Molyneux, and that's what he means. And when he talks about race, that's what he means. And when you went and talked with Richard Spencer and you were using words about homogeneity and culture, that's what it means. That's what it fucking means. Nobody did this to you, Lauren. You did this. You did all of this. What the fuck, man? The only thing that's like so cringy about this is you don't even have the fucking cojones to just admit it. Just fucking outright say it. You're just gonna keep slipping up here and there until eventually you say something bad enough that like YouTube's gonna demonetize you or some shit, which is inevitable because you can't help yourself. People like you, they can't fucking help themselves. They just have to fucking throw it in.
No, demographics is not a synonym for race. Immigration is not a synonym for race. IQ is not a synonym for race.
Yeah, it is, dude. Sorry, it is. That's a dog whistle, and you know it's the dog whistle. You've been around long enough. You know it is. You know it is.
Education level is not a synonym for race. But I replied, if you have a huge sector of your population that is less educated, less skilled, and less wealthy than the rest of your population, it causes a bigger strain on those who have to fund redistributive programs. Keep in mind that my original video was not about—
See, and here's another thing, too, is like, she says that, but at the same time, she's a big fan of Jordan Peterson. And Jordan Peterson, regardless of how you feel about like his cultural stuff, had some pretty great lectures and propositions for progressive programs to closing performance gaps in colleges. So he himself was a huge advocate for programs designed specifically to try and raise everybody up as much as possible. Somehow that gets lost on people like Lauren, but, you know, whatever.
About healthcare, it was about big government in general, but as long as we are going to be talking about healthcare, the fact is that if there are a lot of people who haven't paid into a healthcare system, either because they weren't in the country before or because they've just not been able to financially contribute to the healthcare system, rich people—
That's a good point. Yeah. So you have classist reasons for denying healthcare rather than racist reasons. That doesn't make it much better. That's still pretty inhuman. And like, and the IQ part is very eugenicsy. We've heard some troubling shit in this fucking video.
People's tax dollars will only go so far. You can't have an unending supply of people who don't put money into the healthcare system, because then your healthcare system is going to collapse. And it's here that I would like to point out that the US does have government-funded healthcare to a certain extent. Things like Medicaid and Medicare are examples of government-provided healthcare.
Socialist government healthcare.
Conceptually, I'm not against programs like that, but there's a—
You're not against those socialist programs? Wow. You filthy fucking socialist.
big difference between that and just literally full-on socialized healthcare. To which Josephine Matthias replied, and by the way, I'm not calling her a socialist here. I know she's on the left, but I don't think she's full-on socialist. Anyway, she asked, okay, but why do you think a huge sector of the population is less educated, less skilled, and less wealthy, and how do we improve that? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And personally, when I look at the people who are less educated and less skilled and less wealthy out there, I want to do things like fix the education system. That is a huge one. And no, that doesn't just mean spending more money on schools. That means things like school choice and trying to introduce competitiveness back into the education system.
Oh my god. Holy shit. The most shit awful fucking answer for that I've ever heard in my fucking life. Listen, you know what? We should improve the schools. I don't mean give the schools more money. I don't mean make sure the schools are better funded. I mean make it so if a kid wants to, he can shop for a good school, and maybe rather than go to the one that's a quarter of a mile away, he can take a bus for an hour to go to a better school, because every kid's gonna do that, right? Right? Every kid's gonna. You fucking moron! What the shit, dude? How does this make sense to you? Oh my god.
Second, government regulation on the economy also has a huge impact on people's finances. We saw in
So it's because there's government regulation that's causing people to not make money. How? What do you mean, taxes? Because I don't think you mean taxes. For the record, my taxes have been vastly higher under Trump than they ever have been in anybody else. So I mean, like I don't think that's what you're talking about.
the US under the Trump administration, when they were rolling back all of those regulations, that unemployment rates for Black Americans, women, Hispanic Americans, so many groups were at historic lows. And finally, for certain countries more than others, I think immigration plays a huge part of why certain segments of the population specifically are less educated, less skilled, and less wealthy than the others.
Too many dumb browns.
So there are ways to increase people's levels of wealth and skill and education that don't mean we all have to become socialists. Next, someone else asked, so if it's not racial homogeneity you want, what kind of homogeneity is it, Lauren? And here, I just want to say that there is a big difference between me saying homogeneity explains why Finland is different than the US, and me saying I want more homogeneity. They're not the same. But I responded, education, wealth, skill, language, culture, religion, you know, like literally all parts of society. I think it's pretty obvious that if a society has a robust middle class, then a redistributive program like universal healthcare will be less impactful than if the society is a bunch of impoverished people with just a few wealthier people. To which someone who is so smooth-brained, I assume the inside of their
Hey, it's Biggest Joel.
skull contains a beach ball wrote, you want a society where people have homogeneous amounts of wealth? Obviously, the implication there is that I'm advocating, without knowing it, for socialism or communism to redistribute wealth.
You really don't have a firm grasp on any of these concepts, Lauren. I mean, I don't see why this is such, like... I don't see why this is so fucking hard for you. You know, like you got done singing the praises of the socialist programs for healthcare that are in the United States, but now it's just like I don't fucking know, dude. This is so fucking weird.
I think it's very
I think Big Joel fucking got her good with that shit. This is fucking hilarious.
very telling that these people can only imagine a society with relatively equal amounts of wealth through redistribution and the state. It can't just be that I'm advocating for a highly effective, highly educated workforce. No. It's gotta be through the government taking from people to give to others.
You know, you seem to be hardcore advocating for a very specific, highly skilled, borderline eugenics class warfare fucking workforce that is so completely out of touch with reality that it will never happen. Some sort of bizarre fucking utopian bullshit that I hear spouted all the fucking time from people who usually have like weird Nordic neck tattoos or they have like lots of runes in their profile picture. You know, the real weird people talking about someday with a homeland or return to a tradition where excellence is upheld, you know. Nah, man, this is just so fucking crazy. It's so fucking weird. None of this makes any sense. She's literally describing the impossible.
I think we'll leave things there for now, but I do want to leave you all with a piece of advice, and that is, do not let yourself be painted as an extremist by literal socialists.
Okay.
If you have views that are relatively similar to mine, the truth is, you are a mainstream conservative. Heck, you might even be center-right.
Hey. Wow. Dude, Lauren coming out here with the fucking accidental left wing trying to spout off that if you have these fucking extremist ideas, you're part of the mainstream right. Holy shit, dude. Oof, boy. Holy shit. Thank you so much for saying that. That's so fun. Wow, man.
There is nothing crazy, there is nothing bigoted about anything I've said in this video or my last one, and don't let these socialists try to gaslight you into thinking that there is.
Everything I don't like is socialism. You know that in her closet, she's got like a Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS fucking costume. That poor fucking beta bitch that she's fucking engaged to. I don't know if they're married or not. The dude who puts on a fake voice whenever he's on camera, he's like, yeah, you know, this is some awful shit. But in real life, his voice is really high. Yeah, she fucks him in the ass with the big-ass black dildo. I'm calling it now, dude. I'm calling it now.
That's it for now, though. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for setting yourself on fire for all of us to watch. That was great. That was great. Okay. I'm going to share with you guys what the line was for me. This was the line for me when I decided I was no longer going to make overwhelming excuses for Lauren Chen. All right? This is it. This is it right here. Let me see if I can Kowalski enhance. Boop, boop, boop. All right. This is this year, 2020. It took me this long until I was like, okay, I'm done, dude. I'm done. This little boy saved his sister from a dog attack. Allie Beth Stuckley, who's a bitch, tags Lauren Chen and says, let's get what kind of a dog it was. Lauren Chen says, one where the overwhelming stats say nothing about the breed, I'm sure. That is a dog whistle for black people. Despite making up only 13% of the population, they're responsible for 50% of the crime, blah, 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 blah. It's a fucking dog whistle for black people. And it's something that you'll hear all the fucking time. If somebody's like talking a little weird and they're sounding a little like suspicious about like class or race or politics, and they start talking about pit bulls, they're talking about black people. This is the same fucking thing. This is cut from the exact same goddamn like rhetoric playbook. This is like overt shit, man. This is overt shit. And I really don't understand why Lauren's even bothering trying to like convince people that this isn't what she is now. Like just be open and honest with it. The mask isn't going to last forever. And I hate to say it, Lauren, and this is the fucking truth. This is from the heart here. Your grift, it's on its last legs. It's not working that much anymore. It's really fucking not. Even if Trump manages to get back in and there's another 4 years of dog shit, people are fed up with it. The tides of pop culture have started to shift. You're not going to be able to hide much longer. This grift is not going to fucking last. And all it's going to take is one more big fucking slip up. Maybe this one is it. I don't know. But enough people to like point out that you're saying some really fucked up shit. And somebody's going to go to the blaze. And then you're going to lose your fucking job. I'm telling you now. Like, you're already over the line. Most people are probably never going to see you as anything more than fucking racist at this point, unless they are diehard Lauren Chen supporters. The best you can do now is at least try and preserve your income, all right? Before you're not able to help pay for those treatments for your dad. Anyway, that's Lauren Chen being very upsetty spaghetti, and me laughing my ass off about it.